Hey, Auction Nation. Today we're going to be talking about the best number of silent auction items for your gala. This is from a blog post I wrote years ago, but I didn't do an accompanying video at the time. So I'm going to be doing the video today talking about what's the ideal number of silent auction items for your event. And this is important because you can spend a lot of time, a lot of effort procuring items, and it won't raise you any more money. So the first thing that we need to understand, why can I not get this in order here? Sitting going around here. Here it is. Okay. I want to make sure I'm kind of following the same post, the blog post a little bit. In a silent auction, the long used metric is that you want to have 2 bidding units per silent auction package. 2 bidding units. So what is a bidding unit? A bidding unit is the payer. It's the buyer. It's the person who's interested in supporting your cause. And in some events, that's going to be 2 people. In other times, it's going to be 1 person. So let me give you an example of that. Let's say that you're doing a golf tournament auction. Most of the time, people go to the golf tournament. The event is at the end of the night. They do not have their spouse attend with them or their significant other. They're there after a long day of golf, and they're bidding on the stuff by themselves. A bachelorette auction, a bachelor auction, those tend to be individuals coming to that auction without a significant other and without a spouse. At a bachelor auction, I would hope so. Bachelorette. There's a church auction that I work. It's a single mingle type of an event. So all these singles get together and they call it a service auction. You know, they raise money and then they give it back to the church. And so in that case, they are coming as single people because they are. So it is just individuals that are coming in and they're, putting down the money to buy items in the silent auction. Now, in contrast for that, a bidding unit at a different event, like a school auction or most of our nonprofit auction galas, those are 2 people. They're bringing their significant other, they're bringing their spouse, they're showing up at the registration table, they're putting down 1 credit card to pay for their purchases. They're not competing against each other for the same stuff. They're buying it together to take it home. So in those cases, depending on where you are, that's a little bit different metric. So let's pretend we're the first group. We're running a golf tournament. People are coming as individuals. So let's say that you've got 100 golfers that are attending that event. If you got 100 golfers attending that event, divide by 2. And that is what we like to see in our silent auctions. That's the number of items that you should have, 50 items, in other words, in that particular event. The reason being is that you'll have at least 2 bidding units on every item, and you're trying to create competition, and that creates competition. You can create competition as well by increasing the number of people that come to your event, but most people find it a lot harder to get more people to attend the event than they do to just control their silent auction. So they just reduce the number of items in their silent auction. Now, if you're running a school auction, then in that case, let's say that you've got 100 guests. That'd be kind of a small silent auction or a small school auction, but we'll say you've got 100 guests and they're coming, with a spouse, more than likely. And so in that case, you divide it by 2, and then you divide it by 2 again. So you have 100 divided by 2 is 50. Divided by 2 again is 25. 25 silent auction packages, no more than in your silent auction. You can also divide by 4 in that case. But I don't know, in my head, it works better. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So it's up to you on that. Interestingly, too, I'm also saying school auctions, and there's always exceptions, but school auctions oftentimes have extra items as well that come in because they're adding in class art projects or the teacher donations and stuff like that. But generally speaking, rule of thumb, this is what we have found works great with our clients. Do with that what you will. Ignore it if you want. I don't care. It's your auction. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is why this works well, and is called the principle of scarcity. The idea being that these people that are coming to your event, they want to support your cause. Now, maybe they don't have as much money to play in the live auction. Maybe they aren't the type of person who just wants to give in the fund to need, because they're the type of person who wants to get something when they donate something. That's cool. So in that case, the principle of scarcity is going to drive it if the items are scarce. But if you've got so many items that they don't need to really compete, they're not going to bid again on these items. So they'll go in and you've got, 1,000 items sitting in there. They'll put their bid down on the first item here and maybe over here. But, there's so many items that nobody's really pushing each other to bid more. They don't have to, and they can still support your cause. That's why a few years ago, I had a school auction client. They reduced their silent auction packages by 100 packages they got rid of in their silent auction. They either raised the same or a little bit more than what they did the prior year with 100 extra silent auction packages. And you got to tell me, in a post-pandemic environment where it's harder to generally get items donated anyway, isn't it better to have fewer items? Yeah, it's hard to get those items. So why wouldn't you want to just take advantage of the numbers and let that support you and be able to really raise the same amount of money and not put as much effort in? That always sounds good to me. So, what else have we got here? That might be it. You know, if you're looking for other great auction information, head on over to redappleauctions.com. I also have my free resource over there. It's called the Auction Item Guide. It's the top 100 items I sold for overvalue in the live auctions that I worked last year. So that's free. Just put in your email and it'll send you a link and you can download it there as well. And I'll also say too, there's a number of strategies that you can do to improve your silent auction returns. This is just one of them, but it's an important one. And it's important because you can really, I've found that, you know, you can get stressed out and teams get burnt out trying to find items and so forth. And if you just have a number in mind that, wow, okay, we don't have to have 150 items in here. It's not necessary. You'll kind of ease the pressure on yourself and your committee. And that's a good thing too. There's always a lot of other things that can be done in auction. So why stress yourself out on the number of items? You can find me over on YouTube as well. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. As always, hey, good luck to you in your charity auction.